I'm in Moab, Utah today. I just finished up my Chasing Epic trip yesterday. 4 days of awesome riding with awesome people. So I'm going to try something a little different today. I've been wanting to do a little bit of a long form conversation type podcast interview show on the channel, and today's going to be the pilot. Today's going to be the beta test of it, and we'll see if we can get it all to work, and if there is something after this, then we got it to work. So who are you and where are we at?
Okay, so my name is Tess. I have a YouTube channel called Dusty Betty. And that's kind of my shirt. That's pretty shameless, but I am kind of shameless about it. But yeah, right now we're in Moab. We are in my Airstream, which is also my house. This is where I live. My husband Steve and I travel full time, and we tow the Airstream with our van Fred, which hauls all of our mountain biking gear and all our cool play stuff. And so, yeah.
Awesome. So I read that 5 years ago, you guys made like a goal to go camping once a month. Mm-hmm. And now you're here.
Yeah. It's that was kind of the gateway drug for us, was, we were going to try to get out at least once a month, and then eventually we were taking off just about every weekend, and maybe for, longer weekends once a month. And eventually we were just like, why do we have this house? This is just a place to hang our gear in between adventures. So we just kind of made a few changes in our life so that we could travel full time and do more outdoors. And
what kind of changes?
Well, we had a house. We both had jobs that were not mobile.
Where'd you
friendly. So we were from the Salt Lake areas where we were living. And yeah, I was a hairstylist, worked behind a salon chair for over 10 years, and I loved it, but my clients didn't want to travel, so I kind of had to switch gears. So now I do YouTube and some multimedia marketing stuff. And we had a 3,200 square foot house. It was massive.
Lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Lot of stuff.
Yeah. And when we bought the house, we're like, oh, we'll never fill this, but you just do.
You always do.
Yeah. So stuff kind of finds a way into your life. And so it was a big process of purging and just kind of eliminating the stuff that didn't add real value to our life.
Yes.
And I think we just kind of got on autopilot. I think a lot of us do. We just do the things that you feel like you do. You get a career, you save up, you get a house, and we just kind of realized this isn't jiving, this isn't working for us. And so we just started from scratch and built the life that we wanted. And
that's amazing. I love that. And that's a little bit of my story. I'm still building. You're always in a building process of building, but the whole purge thing totally speaks to me, because I just read that life-changing joy of tidying up and purging and keeping stuff. I got rid of like 12 bags of clothes and all this stuff, and there's way more to purge, but when you live in something like this, you can't.
Yeah, it definitely keeps us from accumulating stuff like we did when we were in a house. But yeah, and it's an ongoing process, I think.
So tell me about Dusty Betty.
Okay, so when we started traveling full time, I had already been mountain biking maybe a couple of years, and I was enjoying it and getting better. But once we started traveling full time, that kind of became our main hobby. Sometimes if we're only in an area for like 3 days, we can see a lot more in less time on a mountain bike. And so it really pushed me to accelerate my skills, and it's just become a bigger part of our life. And as I've tried to learn more about bikes and get a little more involved in the mountain biking online community, I realize there are some spaces for women, but women still aren't feeling super comfortable going in there. Like, when you get on a lot of the forums, they'll have a women's page and there's like tumbleweeds blowing by, maybe 1 or 2 people are posting a week. And so I thought, I've got the skills to do the video stuff. I want to kind of, add a female perspective to it. Not that Dusty Betty will be only for women, but I do think that that's something unique that I bring to it. We've got a lot of awesome mountain biking YouTubers, but I think just being a woman alone adds a different perspective, and every woman is different too, so I think that there's definitely going to be room for more voices to come to the online mountain biking community, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring. Yeah,
there's tons of room. There's always room. If you have an engaging personality, if you can tell a story, if you can talk clearly, and you have something to say, there's room for everybody. So I think it's awesome. I've watched a bunch of your videos and the jumps and all the stuff, and I think that's very good that it's not just about women, but it is, but it isn't. It's all inclusive, but
it's part of my identity, so it's just going to be a part of it. Yeah, for sure. And I think that that will help other women connect with me. Other people might find it interesting, and
definitely.
yeah, that's what Dusty Betty is I'm doing all this mountain biking stuff, and I thought, why am I not sharing this from my perspective? So
Exactly.
that's the goal.
So what kind of bike do you ride?
I ride a 5010, a Santa Cruz 5010, and I love it.
What size?
It's a size small.
Okay.
And that's about perfect for me. You know, every brand is a little bit different, but I think I'm just in the perfect range for a size small. There's maybe 2 or 3 times a year that I wish I had a Bronson or something with a little more travel, but my bike still gets me through it. So I think I'm still on the right bike, you know, ultimately.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
Yeah.
So it's you, your husband, and your dog.
Yes. So yeah, we've got our little dog Fender. He loves to go mountain biking too. You can hear his collar jingle because he heard me say mountain biking.
Heard the words.
So he can't go on some of the longer trails when we're in Moab because it's so rocky. It's a little tough on his feet, but he loves it. So yeah, it's the 3 of us, and we're a nice little tidy package.
How are you getting along on your YouTube journey?
Well, my channel, I only started about 2 months ago, and
You already have 1,000 subscribers.
yeah. So it's going well. It's growing, and so far the response has been really positive, and it's cool. I think people get what I'm trying to do, you know, and I think even guys are excited to see women like stepping up. There's a few of us female YouTubers who are really trying to, you know, bring our voice to it, and I think people are getting it, and you see that in the comments. People are like, hey, this is awesome, you know, or you're onto something. And so it's cool. I think people get it, and the response has been really positive. And I went to Outer Bike and had the chance to talk with a bunch of people and make new connections, and just really, really positive response. And yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, it's great. I think it is definitely the niche inside of a niche, and you've got everything that it takes to do it, but it's about doing the work, right?
Yeah.
It's about, okay, how many videos a week are you going to put out?
Yeah. How many? My goal is at least 2.
Yeah.
I think it's tough because we travel full time, and my husband and I have another YouTube project that we do together, and so I do kind of have to divide my time, but I'm going to shoot for 2 videos a week. There might be times where I get more, but that's the goal.
Yeah, that's a good...
Because I want it to be constant. I don't want to have huge gaps.
Yeah,
so.
it's a good goal. It's definitely a good goal. So the other YouTube project's called The More We Explore, and it's focused more on the lifestyle and the Airstream, and I've watched a few of those videos, and I find them pretty fascinating about downgrading. You had a bigger one, and now you've got a smaller one, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's been good because, you know, doing that has taught me a lot, and that's what gave me the confidence to do Dusty Betty, because I don't think I would have if I hadn't already acquired some of those skills, kind of doing that with my husband, our previous project. So
yeah, it's getting the reps in. That's all I ever talk about with these people that like want advice on a YouTube channel. It's like, if you're not making at least a video a week, you're not doing anything. You're not progressing. You're not getting the reps in. You're not editing enough. You're not shooting enough. You're not awkwardly talking to the camera enough so you can figure out how to talk, you know, be natural. So
yeah,
that's the answer to everything. Is like, if you could do 7 videos a week, you're going to be way ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like you're progressing, you know, but when you look a few months down the road, you can't measure it in days and weeks sometimes even, but if you look, you know, months back, you'll start to see like, hey, I'm getting good at this, you know, so.
Yeah, I watch my old videos and I cringe. Like, how did anybody watch this? Like, it just, yeah.
Yep.
So it's amazing that, yeah, it's great to find something to connect with people. That's what I'm always so grateful for, is connecting with these people and having it be so positive from the start and having it roll so fast from the start. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, and when my husband and I first started traveling, like, we wondered if we were going to get lonely, but, you know, social media is so amazing, and doing projects like Dusty Betty, it creates opportunities to connect with people, and we've made some amazing friends this way. So,
yeah, I've never had so many friends, and it's like a problem now. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna be there, but oh god, there's like 5 people there that might actually like get their feelings hurt if I'm there, and I'm like, oh Jesus.
It's tough. You kind of have to balance it for sure, but it is cool. You don't when you share like this, and if you're really genuine, people will connect with you, and you will have friends everywhere you go.
What is the deal with women's mountain biking? What are you're going to change women's mountain biking? You're going to help. You're going to help women.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who are doing a lot of really good things to help women's mountain biking. It's hard to speak about women's mountain biking for any individual to do that, because I don't represent all women. There's no one woman who does. But obviously there's going to be people who connect with me, and I can say for myself, I approached mountain biking with a lot more trepidation, and there's a lot of women who will relate to that. And so I think it's cool to see a lot of women-specific events, women-specific clinics and things like that. And even a lot of the brands, even if you don't believe in necessarily some of the women's-specific products, they're creating community. And kind of what I'm trying to do, trying to carve out a place where women can feel comfortable. We feel not all, but a lot of us feel a little bit intimidated getting into it. And so kind of creating a stronger female presence in these places where women can come together really helps build confidence. And I would say, don't make the mistake of thinking that women are not competitive, because I think still when I ride with women, we totally push each other. It's a totally different tone, but we still push each other. And so I think that's part of it. Is I think it helps a lot of women get over the intimidation factor and get into the sport by riding with other women. It instills a lot of confidence. It's inspiring. And so I think when you see Brandon Semenek like doing the stuff he does, most women they're not like, whoa, that's gonna be me, or I'm inspired by that. But if you see other women in your mountain biking community, you can see yourself in them, or they're people that you feel like, okay, that feels like something that I want to be. So yeah,
exactly. And for me, like, I really believe in this whole mountain biking thing. I believe it is the best way to get fit. It's the best way to make friends. It's the best way to travel and see the world. It's the best way to, like, have an adrenaline rush. So for me, it's just as many people as I can spark getting into it and enjoying it, and pushing past the two factors of it being the hardest thing you'll ever do the first time and you're going to probably almost puke, and it being horribly expensive. Like, those two factors, if you can get past those, if you can find a way to get into it and hopefully have some decent trails around, then it's a magical thing.
Yeah. And something that I've talked about on my channel is helping get women into mountain biking. I did a video there's been a lot of talk about when I posted at different places, and it's called How to Get Your Girlfriend Hooked on Mountain Biking. And I've had some people comment and say, why would you want to invite her to do something that she doesn't want to do, or who says that that's even a thing? And if people don't, that's fine, but it's sad to me to think that some people wouldn't extend that invitation to their friends or the people that they love spending time with, because I kind of got into it because I was sick of being left out by my husband and our friends who mountain biked. And so without my husband to introduce me into it, I wouldn't have gotten into it. So, I just think there's nothing wrong with extending an invitation to someone like, hey, would you like to try this? I think that's a wonderful gift to give someone.
So do you remember your first couple rides?
Yeah, my first couple rides were really, really spread out. So I kind of don't even count that as when I started, because it was like doing, you said your first ride is the hardest thing you ever do. So it was like I had to do that like 5 times. It was like once or twice a summer for a few years. But it was cool once I was like, no, I'm going to do this. You do progress quickly, and you can see the results fairly quickly, especially if you're rewriting a lot of the same trails.
So any puking stories, any crying, any just because the self-doubt is huge. Like, it's a huge thing. Like, for me, I remember just many times, and even now when I ride with guys that are way better than me, it's all self-doubt. It's all like, oh, can't do this. Oh, I have to stop. I have to walk. Like, this whole thing. But then it's like, oh, I have some good rides, and it's like life.
Yeah,
it's this roller coaster of like, you can't believe you're the shit, and then you can't believe you're the shits. Like, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. I've felt the highs and the lows, and I do think, especially, I think even now, I feel I'm always worried that I'm going to be the one that's holding the group back. But the cool thing is, like, once you find a cool group of friends to ride with, sometimes you'll be in the back, sometimes you won't be in the back. And you can be the one who's like, it's okay, and it feels good to be the one who's like,
everyone.
Yeah, no, but that is one thing that I think is hard for a lot of people to get over with mountain biking is, you don't want to be the one that's holding the group back, and you do feel intimidated, but the mountain biking community is awesome, and so, if you don't find a place to ride with one group of people, you'll find a place somewhere else.
It's my number one thing that I encourage people to do is make friends in the mountain bike community. Join your local club, do volunteer whenever you can, and then you'll meet these people that are probably pretty good riders because their life revolves around mountain biking, and they'll have an extra camelback. They'll have an extra wheel or a tire or something that busted, and then they'll show you, hey, how does this even work? And then they'll take you on a ride and be like, hey, on this one, do this. And that is the way, is to get that vicarious mentorship or whatever and surround yourself with shredders.
Yeah, and I think anything you can do to broaden your net and meet as many different people as possible, whether it's participating with clubs or going on shop rides with some of the local bike shops. I have a friend he works at a bike shop, and he's even had women come into the shop and they're looking for people to ride, and he'll give them his wife's number. So you just never know. I think if you're looking for people to ride with, just try as many things as possible and realize, maybe you won't go to every club ride, but maybe it'll help you make some connections and you'll start to kind of create your own core group of riding friends. So yeah, don't limit yourself.
Yeah.
That's something that I tend to do, is limit myself, but I think, as many ways as you can meet people to ride with.
Yeah, it's funny. A few stories I've heard is like from these guys starting these YouTube channels in their local area, and then a bunch of people like from the local area are searching for those. I'm like, hey, and then they make all these friends. Just it's not a mega YouTube channel, but it's a little local thing,
like your local news station.
Exactly, in a way that to find these people that you would have never ran into in other walks of life.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so one thing that I'm kind of curious about that I've been thinking about is, do you feel like women are more afraid of getting hurt riding than guys are? Or do you think guys just have more confidence that they're not going to get hurt? I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know. I feel like guys, they push their fear ceiling a little bit quicker. Are you just as worried about getting hurt as I am? Or
I'm very worried about getting hurt, for sure. And I think it's not a gender thing. It's just a person-to-person thing. It's like the people that tend to be on a mountain bike they're not going to be the people that are like, I don't want to go outside. Something could happen. So you're already on there. So then maybe if you do have that tendency, then you're already holding back. And when you hold back, you're not reaching your full potential. And this whole thing, for me, it's all confidence. It's all confidence. Like, I did Captain Ahab yesterday with a bunch of guys, and I had to walk a bunch of stuff, and I was just like, I can't do it. I just couldn't get, maybe if I was following the guide and get towed in, but there was too much of a gap, and I was like,
and some of those are funky to get started on.
They're horrible. Yeah, I'm looking at it, and I've done it before, and even so, I'm like, no, because a lot of my approach is, okay, this is the last day of a 4-day trip. I'm going back home after this. I'm not hurt. I'm feeling good. Let's live to fight another day. I want to be the 60-year-old guy mountain biking, the 70-year-old guy, 80-year-old guy mountain biking. It's very much confidence and skills and feeling your bike, knowing your bike, and that's why I say over and over that money spent on skills, on coaching, is better than any stupid, I'm going to get carbon wheels, I'm going to get a new handlebar. You're going to spend $300 on some stupid piece of crap on your bike where you would never spend $300 on a coaching session. Oh, that's stupid. And then all of a sudden it transforms your riding and you're more confident. You look the part, you feel the part, and you can do all this stuff no matter how janky your bike is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Steve has said the same thing. The best money you'll spend on the bike isn't the money you spend on your bike, it's the money you spend on your coaching.
Yeah.
And I totally agree.
So the struggle of being on the road, it's all fun and games until you need to upload a video.
Yeah, it is a challenge. We have a 4G booster, so we use our phones and we just set them up to be Wi-Fi, and so that's pretty much what we use most of the time. Every now and then we may find a cafe or a library that's got fast enough stuff we can do that, but most of the time we're doing it from the phone.
What service do you use?
We use Verizon.
And unlimited?
Yes, we have a grandfathered unlimited,
okay.
And so we are treasuring that gem, and that's really helpful.
And I said unlimited in quotes because I have unlimited, but it's I think if you do 500 gigabytes, which is a ton, if you're uploading 500 gigabytes, you're a YouTube jackass trying to, pull the pipe down. So, okay, so you guys are real unlimited.
Yes,
Nice.
it's an old plan that we've just kind of hung on to, and then Steve has another phone for his work stuff. So yeah, we can boost the signal with the 4G, but it's still tough, and using a phone, those suckers get hot, and it can take hours and hours. There are times, most of the time when we upload, we'll just leave it going
Overnight.
all night because we're not trying to compete with it to use the internet for other things, and yeah, it will take hours. And that's after you already spent hours editing it. You know, you're so excited because you've got this product, and then there's going to be even more time to get it pushed out the door. But I mean, you know how that is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think most people realize how long an edit takes or can take. And
Yeah.
there's always this balance of trying to say when is good enough, and you know. So
Yeah,
how long do your edits take you?
It's like a day, I'd say. You know, it's like
It's a work
if
day.
I actually added it up, but I'll take a lunch break. I'll get
Mm-hmm.
up, I'll go to the gym, but it's a full day for every video, and that's not necessarily every ride. So some rides, maybe whole enchilada will be 2 videos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one day on the first video, one day on the second video. So it's all 1-to-1, if not more work than the ride. So yeah, and I mean, for me, this is all day, everyday life. There is no life outside of this YouTube channel and what I'm doing right now. So,
It's a job.
yeah, I'll watch Rick and Morty every once in a while. I'll go see a movie. I go to dinner with my family at least once a week. So that keeps me grounded. But yeah, it's not even a job. It's an obsession.
Yeah. I think I probably spend about, it sounds like we spend about the same amount of time editing. It's a lot of work. It's
Exactly.
work, but when it's something that you're excited about, it's a product that you're excited to put out there, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, it's all I ever wanted was something that I could pour my entire life into. And to find it, I'm not going to waste any time and poo-poo or cry like, oh. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
I love diving in. So you mentioned Steve a couple times. That's your husband. And you said he had a normal job, and then he figured out a remote job. I'm
Yeah.
curious about that.
So he's an instructional designer. That's what he went to school for, and he designs internal training for companies. So he just had a job close to where we lived, and it was quite a process for him to find a job, because when you're looking for a remote job, suddenly you're competing with people all across the country, and in some cases in different parts of the world. So it's extremely competitive, and it's not easy. He probably turned in hundreds of applications
In the same
before
field?
he found the job. Yep, he was able to stay in the same career, which was awesome. He's really good at it, and so that was cool that he was able to stay in the same field, but just to find a remote position with a company doing
Huge.
that was a big deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So see, Steve just said that it took him 450 job applications to get his job. And for me, that's like one of my mantras now is like, I'm unstoppable as long as I don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to learn a language, if you're going to do something, as long as you're making progress every single day and going, what's going to stop you unless you stop yourself?
Yeah. Oh, I think that's so awesome, and that's something I struggle with. I'm not as persistent. I think I'm not as patient, and I think that's one thing that's been hard for me too, to switch from, my job before we started traveling. I was a hairstylist, so I'd go to work. I had X number of appointments. When the day was over, my work was done, I could go home. Doing what we do, like, the work is never done, and so I think you have to become really patient, and you have to become really disciplined, and you have to keep your mind on the big picture, because the work is never really done. So it's up to you to kind of divide it and kind of draw the line, with work-life balance and stuff like that. So that's been a challenge for me, working for myself and remotely.
Yeah, it's huge. I used to work for a newspaper, and it's very much the same thing of like, perfect is the enemy of good. Like, this is today's newspaper. There's going to be tomorrow, and there's going to be fucking 500 more newspapers that, like, it's like, this is what you're doing now. You do your best, but get it out, get it done, and move on to the next thing, and know that you're improving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a very serious question. What do you think of my hair?
Good.
Okay.
You got a nice wave to it, so it's very forgiving as it gets longer. It's not too bad. Am I right? You got some wave? Yeah. All right.
It's very wavy.
Yeah.
Serious stuff.
Another thing that I was curious to talk to you about is riding trails blind, because that's something that you and I can both relate to. We travel so much that we don't often get to ride the same trail more than once, and when I first started traveling, it kind of destroyed my confidence for a little while. I think I actually digressed in the first 3 months that we were traveling full time, and it took me a while to kind of crawl back out of that. And I think it's getting better. I'm getting better at it, but how have you responded to the challenge of riding blind so often?
It's great because most of the time I'm riding behind guys or girls that are awesome, it is their local trail. But there's plenty of times where I'm kind of on my own and I'm doing it, and I think your brain just has to adapt. Like your brain has to speed up. It has to be like, okay, and that's the funny thing about riding behind people sometimes too, is like, I can't really trust riding behind this person 100%, so my field of view is actually only this big for looking at the trail. So I think it's actually almost accelerated, or there's something in my brain that's kind of had to compensate for, like, hey, we're doing this. This is all you've got. You're gonna have to like adapt or die.
Yeah. Are there any other things that have helped you like improve in that?
It's just riding more often. That's like the answer to everything. It's like ride more often, especially like. And to challenge yourself. Like that's the thing, like talk about 10,000 hours of practice and diligent practice and actually getting better is right beyond your comfort zone. Like riding the same trails all the time and just kind of, oh yeah, it's great. Like if you're not pushing, you're not growing. And that's a scary place to be because you'll push hard and crash, and then it's like, what the heck's going on? I just had a hard week in Spain. Like Basque MTB, Backcountry Pyrenees, I thought it was great, but I crashed almost every single day, like badly. Like almost like I crashed on my face for the first time. I twisted my ankle really badly, like, and it still hurts now. And it's that confidence level just tanked horribly of just like, what am I doing? I can't, and you know, maybe it was the bike, maybe it was me, maybe it was the trails. But now I've been riding the past 4 days and I feel good again. No crashes, no nothing. So I'm like, okay, I'm back.
The highs and the lows never go away. I mean, you keep learning, you keep getting better, and yeah, there's always going to be bad days for sure, especially if you are trying to push it and improve.
I get emails from guys that like broke their neck, broke their back, broke their collarbone, and they're like, man, thank you for putting out these videos because I'm sitting in traction right now and I'm gonna get back onto it, but like they're in a hole for sure. And like to keep that spark alive and to do something that broke you and to get back, like that's I'm not a superstitious person, but it's gonna happen to me. And I'm gonna have to fight back from it, and it's gonna happen, and I've accepted it, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I think we all kind of know, like, there's risk involved in what we do, you know, and we all hope that this isn't the day, but, you know, we've all been on a trail with a buddy that got messed up, you know, it's just always kind of a looming threat, but, you know, you can't live like that. And
the price we pay is this amazing life. We're fit, we're having fun, we're traveling, we're experiencing life. More people are dying on the couch, eating bad food, watching TV, sugar, alcohol, everything that I hate about the world that is just killing everyone, versus going outside. And he fell off Upper Porcupine single track and he died doing what he loved.
Yeah, and I have to remind myself too, I've sprained an ankle mountain biking, but I've also sprained an ankle walking downstairs. And
exactly, like bringing the Costco back to the...
There's risk involved, yeah.
The thing I noticed about this Chasing Epic trip that I just did is that there was a wide range of abilities, people that had never seen anything like Moab, anything this chunky, anything this steep, but they had a level of fitness that made it so, I didn't get this one, you walk around, you're still in the game. When your fitness level is too low to even, it just starts snowballing, and it starts being like, okay, I'm out of breath, I'm super tired, and now I've got to look at this friggin' crazy feature, and everything snowballs. So more saddle time, but like if you can get on trainer road, do structured training, or just do massive crazy fire road hill climbs, then your legs and your lungs will be in a place that will be so much better when you get to Moab, when you get to Whistler. You'll be in this place where you're not like already like, oh.
Yeah, and I think you need a lot of mental capacity sometimes to, like, you know, keep yourself centered, keep yourself focused and calm and thinking clearly as you get ready to go into like challenging features and things like that. So yeah, if your fitness level is getting in the way, you can't be in the headspace you need to be in, and I mean, a lot of times that's when things start to go wrong.
Big time.
Anyone who rides, with groups of people, like, you see that happen.
Yeah. Tess, thank you so much.
Yeah,
this
thank you.
has been awesome. I'm so glad that we got to hook up and chat. Check out Dusty Betty. I'll have a link in the description, as always. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your girlfriend, tell your mom, tell your daughter. Women's mountain biking on YouTube. She's going to take over. She's going to be the one.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the trail.